Welcome back. Today I'm starting a new series where I'm going to have some of my friends and pros come on and show you guys some of their favorite shots. My buddy Tanner Tomasi, Tanner Pickleball, gave me the idea. Head over to his page. He's done it with some great pros as well. I figured there was no better person to start with the man behind the camera, the guy you see all the time. So this is my really good friend Zack Marceau. He's one of the top collegiate pickleball players in the country, also a pro pickleball player on the rise, tearing me up in drills all the time. So we're having a blast, and he's gonna show you guys his signature shot. It is nasty. A bunch of you guys have requested to see this shot because you've seen him using it in some of our other videos, so I figured there's no better way to start. So Zach, I'll let you take it away. Tell him about the shot.
So today I'm gonna be showing y'all the forehand roll dink. It can be useful in many scenarios. The reason we wanna have this shot is it allows us to create pressure and dictate play from the net while also disguising our speed ups and being able to take control of the whole rally at the net.
So Zach, I'm wondering, I noticed you use the slice and the roll. How do you decide when to use each, and why does it at least seem to me that you like the roll a little more than the slice?
So the roll allows you to dictate play at the net a little more. Typically, if I have more of a dead ball or a neutral ball, I would look to roll that so I can then start dictating play at the net. If the opposing player is rolling balls at me, I tend to use the slice. When I'm using the slice, it's typically when I'm more stretched out, and the areas I aim the slice are kind of middle to neutralize the opponent's opportunities to speed up. Once I find that I have a ball that I can get around and roll, I start to look to roll in between the feet, hard middle, hard outside. This allows me to create opportunities and open up the court in ways that allows us to find holes and gaps in the opposing defense. So we need to have two different kinds of rolls with the forehand roll. We need to have the hard roll. So when we have a player we're playing against that's not really reaching into the kitchen, taking balls out of the air, but rather taking steps back, we want to use a hard roll where we're getting the ball to bounce either at the kitchen line or even 6 to 8 inches behind it. The other shot we need to have is called a soft roll. So the soft roll allows us to hit the ball kind of shallower in the kitchen. We're going to aim a little bit lower on the ball and really spin it shallow in the kitchen, so those people who are really reaching in can't reach it and they're forced to take a step back and just dink it back, allowing us to have another ball that we can dictate play with.
Okay, so for me, that's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. So can you explain to them how you actually hit the shot?
So how we hit the actual shot is we get around the ball and we're using topspin to get the ball to land in the kitchen. The one thing we need to really be careful about is using too much wrist. If we're using a lot of wrist, the ball tends to pop on us and goes way too high over the net, allowing our opponents to take the ball out of the air and speed it up. So the one thing we need to do, and generally when we're not using as much wrist, we're a lot more consistent. So we need to be locking our wrist, keeping it in a kind of a softly locked position, and we're pulling up on the ball. You know, we kind of talked about with the topspin of brushing up. It's the same kind of motion. We want to make sure we're not too much out, but we're more in that kind of like 45-degree kind of sweet spot. That's the biggest thing with being able to apply topspin to the ball to get it to bounce in the kitchen.
So I was pretty interested when you were talking about hitting the shot. It seemed like the first thing that jumped out to me was you were saying your positioning is really important.
Absolutely.
So I know for a lot of our viewers, people talk about how hard the footwork is for a lot of these shots.
Yeah.
So could you dive a little deeper into how you get your feet into position so that you're able to really hit that shot and you don't end up doing that other one where you're kind of coming on the outside?
Absolutely. So the first thing, I know it's kind of cliche, super simple, but we don't want to be cemented in concrete. We need to make sure we're in the balls of our feet, able to move to the ball and around the ball, because that's going to be the biggest thing with the footwork to the shot is cornering the ball or getting around the ball. So the ability to corner the ball is to have it in front of you and not off to the side of you. So if I have a ball that's one step to my right, instead of hitting it here, I want to kind of slightly turn my body so that I am hitting it in a direct line to where I'm aiming. If I'm aiming this way, then I'm going to have my feet pointed this way. If I'm aiming cross court, I need to make sure I have the time to get around the ball and hit it cross court. That's a super big misconception with a lot of people, because if my feet are pointing this way and I want to hit the ball cross court, I need to have some type of paddle manipulation that comes from my wrist, rather than if I manipulate my body to point cross court, I can just hit a normal shot that applies to this way, even this way, and this way. So we need to make sure we're getting around the ball, brushing up with our arm, not our wrist, and keeping it We're aiming lower on the ball, and we're keeping it nice and tight, ready for the next ball.
All right. All right.
We are pumping out content like crazy, guys, so make sure you're commenting, letting us know what you guys want to see, what drills we can cover, what shots we can cover, because we are covering a lot of stuff. So make sure you guys stick around to see whether or not your request is taken up on. So you guys saw in this demo how I was able to really dictate the play at the net. I was changing my spots. That inside foot spot gets a lot of people super uncomfortable. So you guys were able to see how I was changing my spots, getting around the ball, using topspin to dictate play at the net.
Zach, I know from the comments people really enjoy seeing you in the videos, and I really appreciate having you along with me for all this kind of stuff. So if you could break down this shot in one or two things, what would you say are the keys for people to execute this shot effectively?
Number one, we already kind of talked about it, footwork, getting around the ball. Make sure you're square to the ball and the ball is not off to the side of you. And secondly, using your arm and keeping it in a tight kind of radius, because the more we extend, the further the ball's gonna go. So we wanna make sure we're keeping it tight, going up, not out, kind of finding a nice balance to get that ball bouncing in the kitchen.
Okay, and one last thing would be, do you think this shot is going to help the viewers take their games to the next level, and why?
Yeah, absolutely. This shot is gonna be huge for all the viewers because it's gonna allow you to dictate play at the net. You're gonna be able to find your spots, create opportunities, because obviously we're looking for offense, and the biggest way to find offense is creating with our dinks. So if we can create with our dinks, we're gonna be able to find major holes in our opponent's defense.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for coming back. You got to see the man behind the camera is more than just a man behind the camera. So I know all you guys follow his socials. I'll leave them in the link below. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
See.